Well, Coach, obviously, probably a little bit of nerves there, but once you heard it and you heard you going back,
yeah, more than a little bit. All this analysis, it just drives you crazy, and it's hard to watch. But we're grateful. We're grateful for this opportunity. Our guys, I felt like they earned it. We win a Mountain West Conference title, and I think we're rewarded for that. So. Exciting day, great day for Boise basketball.
I know you weren't looking at the projections, but there were a couple bubble teams there that got in before you guys. At least had some people in the back of the room kind of shaking their heads. What was kind of your nerves as you saw some of those teams getting in before you?
Well, there's so much to keep track of that I couldn't actually. But yeah, you do see some teams popping up, and you're like, oh, this will be interesting. I think it's more torture to watch the games like the SMU UConn game than it is anything else, because you have no control over those. And so. But like I said, I'm proud of our guys. I'm proud of what we've done this year, and this is a great reward for what we've done, and we're excited to play.
Which side does this fall on? Does this fall on stress, or a little bit of a celebration for being able to make the NCAA tournament the second time?
Well, it's always NCAA. Everybody puts so much on the NCAA tournament, and I think it's overemphasized because it's such a national event. It's probably the greatest sporting event in the world, So much is put into the tournament, but winning a conference championship and those kind of things are great measures of a program, and but this is like you said, it's a great reward to be able to play in such a great sporting event.
What are your reward playing Dayton in Dayton?
Dayton in Dayton. Well, I think our travel is going to be a little harder than theirs. We had such a neat experience our first time in Dayton. The first four. They do such a great job with it. I don't know if they're calling it the first four anymore, or whatever it is, but the city of Dayton was tremendous last time, and so I know that they're 16-0 in their building, and I know they got a great team, and Archie does such a good job coaching them, and so you get to the NCAA tournament, you're going to play somebody really good, and that's what we're going to do. Now we get to play a road game too. So
how do you figure out what you're going to see in them? Can you get films quickly?
Yeah. This day and age. It's the old days. You used to have to wait for the planes to come in and bring you some film, and this day and age we can get on Synergy right away and be able to watch this stuff.
Do you know anything about them this year? I mean, they made a good tournament run last year, but I don't know what you know about them this year.
Yeah, well, again, it's another Atlantic 10 team for us, but they had a great year. They lost some guys early that thought, I think people maybe a little bit like our situation where people wrote them off for dead probably. And credit to them, credit to the team. They're back in the NCAA tournament. So I think there's probably some similarities that way.
Is there any advantage to having been in Dayton, and especially with this senior group, having made that trip, played in that
I think
gym?
Experience always does help you. It's experience playing on the road, experience playing in an NCAA tournament. The first time you go there, you're probably looking around so much, you're wide-eyed. And the second time you go there, maybe a little better focused. And but again, I think it's more about having juniors and seniors that have been through a lot than anything else.
What do you guys do? How do you guys prepare over the next couple of days? And I mean, obviously,
it's a whirlwind
because
with this game we play on Wednesday, so we'll practice tomorrow. We'll fly out right afterwards, and then you don't have much time to prepare for a Wednesday game. So we haven't even unpacked yet from the conference tournament. So. It's a whirlwind, but it's exciting time. And when you get to this point, there's not, if you're making tons of changes in your system or your program, then you're probably in trouble. So, we're going to do what we're going to do, and they're going to do what they do, and we'll just both teams will let it roll.
You guys will be the only game going on at that time,
unlike
a normal tournament. Yeah. So I guess for a guy like Derek and some of these seniors, for them to get this national stage like this, are you excited for that part of it?
That is the neat part of it, is you are the first game, you're the only game going on, and you get the A string, everything. So it's a great opportunity for our guys, like we said, with the seniors and the juniors that have been in this program for a long time, to play in such a national game.
Played in this game 2 years ago. Does it come down to just who makes shots at this stage of the season?
Well, you gotta play confident. You gotta be able to make shots, obviously, and especially the way our style of play. You gotta be able to do that. But it's all the pieces. It's how well you can defend and how well you can finish a game, because a lot of these games end up being close games, and teams that can close end up winning.
Did you sleep much last night, or what has the last day and a half been like for you?
Yeah, it's been rough. The crazy thing about it is we've won going into the conference tournament, we had won 14 out of 15 games, I think, and then you lose one and you forget how painful and how bad you hate that. So we had to deal with that. Now we still have to regroup from that a little bit and recover from it because it feels like it was a minute ago. So this helps you recover from it and get the excitement. Because we were playing, you look around, especially on the West Coast, we've been playing probably as good as anybody these last 5-10 games, and so we just got to keep that momentum going into this tournament.
Do you feel like it's a mixed bag, obviously having to play at Dayton in their arena, but then again, this team's been a good road team this year. Maybe you probably would feel better about it than even you did 2 years ago. We
have played in some hostile environments, and there's, like I said, they're 16-0 in this building. They're a terrific team, and we know that's not going to be it's not going to be an easy task by any means. But you get to the NCAA tournament, you're going to play somebody really good. It's just a unique thing that you get to play a road game in the NCAA tournament.
Do you have any idea how you match up with Dayton personnel?
No, not personnel. You haven't. That just came up. The one thing that I do know is they're probably a little bit like us as far as we're not that. I don't think they got 3 7-footers or stuff like that. I think size-wise we're probably pretty similar.
Was there a lesson you learned you took away from that experience 2 years ago that you're going to harp to the guys this time around?
No, I don't think it's, me personally, I've been fortunate to be, this is my 13th NCAA trip, so I don't think there was anything last year or last experience that we picked up on, and we ran into a really good team. It was a tough matchup for us. They ended up being a tough matchup for a lot of people as they went on to the Sweet 16. So, it's the same things that we've been doing, and we fall back on our training, we fall back on our system.
What do you think about, the first four, or we said whatever they call it now, but and it always does seem like LaSalle did it last time, Tennessee did it last year. It always seems like there is a team there that does make a run towards the Sweet 16.
Yeah, and I don't know why or what the explanation of that. Just know in this day and age in college basketball, pretty much every team that, those teams were rolling up, and you look at all those teams up and down the bracket, and when they were rolling the teams, I was like, oh, that team's really good, and that team's really good, they can do it. So there's a lot of teams in this country that can make big runs. You just don't know who they are right now.
I know that when you were at Gonzaga, you were probably a little less stressed at times about whether you'd actually get into the field or not, but what is Selection Sunday like, waking up, wondering if your season will continue?
It's tough, and I want to get us out of this spot where you can rest easy and sleep good the night before. That's my goal, is because it's pretty stressful, and like I said, it's accumulation of a lot of work for these guys, and so you just want the reward of that. I was at peace with it. I know we've done all we could do and played great down the stretch, and again, I think our guys were rewarded for that.